Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here and welcome back to the Fragrance Well. So I don't know if you noticed, setup's a little bit different. We got the fragrance cabinet in the room now. That sucked moving that in here. I don't even have like thousands of fragrances, but I don't know how guys with that many fragrances like move their fragrances from one spot to the other. I think I'm approaching 300. I don't even know what the exact number is, but it sucked moving all of these. So listen, if you do not necessarily feel you need a large collection, don't do it. It's a pain in the butt if you ever have to move it. Anyway, cabinet's in here now. I think it looks a little bit better with all of the fragrances in view. This is not the final setup. It's just kind of where it needs to be right now for me to kind of get the changes I want to make started. And the main thing was just getting those in here. So that is done. But anyway, we're going to do a video today. I've got a little bit of time. My child is not here yet, but I've got a little bit of time today. So we're going to go ahead and shoot one. A real quick one here. We got 8 fragrances that are warm weather fragrances that I think work well in the colder weather. As we all know, we just got through with a pretty big freeze through most of the country. It was even cold here in Florida, like bone chilling cold. It's starting to warm up a little bit, not fully there yet. But all that being said, it is always nice to wear fragrances from the opposite season in the other season just to see how they do. And these fragrances here I think can give an interesting effect when you wear a warm weather fragrance in cooler weather. And also the majority of these also perform really well, so I don't think they'll be gone in like 4 hours if you were to wear them in cooler weather. So let's go ahead and get it started. But before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like this content, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, guys, to kick it off, we got one from Dior, and this is going to be Dior Homme Sport. This is the 2021 release. Dior Homme Sport 2021. So this one here is a very bright and vibrant fragrance. Perfect sport fragrance without it being too generic. It is definitely a true flanker to that Dior Homme 2020 DNA. It's just a lot more vibrant, a lot brighter. The woodiness is kind of the same, but it's a little bit less of that heavy elemi gooiness, kind of warmth that original Dior Homme 2020 DNA has. And because of that, this fragrance in cold weather would almost be like spraying ice on the fragrance, which is gonna kind of be the theme with a lot of these fragrances. When you wear them in cooler weather, you get this kind of iced over characteristic, get a different wearing experience with the fragrance, where it's almost like the fragrance just had ice crystals form over it. That's kind of the big different wearing experience you get. Now, I will say this much here. This fragrance here is probably the one on the list, as I mentioned in the intro, that may not really give you crazy performance. I get a good 6 to 8 hours out of this when I wear this in the summertime, kind of depending on the humidity. With the cool weather, I would say it's probably about the same. I will be honest, I haven't actually worn this in the coldest of weather. I've worn it on cooler days, but with some of these like really, really cold days we've had recently, I haven't thought to wear this. Usually I take that time to wear the cool weather scents in cool weather because, you know, here in Florida, we don't get too much of that. But that being said, this fragrance will definitely give you that iced over feeling because it has that really sharp, cooling nature to it when you spray it on. So once again, from Dior, this is Dior Homme 2021. Sorry, Dior Homme Sport 2021. All right, guys, we got a couple coming from Nishane. The first one's gonna be Hacivat. Nishane Hacivat. So this fragrance here is usually considered to be a summer powerhouse. You can definitely wear this any time of the year, in my opinion, but when you think about the mood of the fragrance, definitely, at least for me, puts me into that summertime mind frame. And this one, similar to Dior Homme Sport 2021, has a very sharp and bright and vibrant opening. Very strong, edgy bergamot, a really nice kind of pineapple accord to give it more of a fruity touch to it. Oak moss is in here, giving it a dry feeling. Cedar wood. There's some jasmine to kind of smooth it out, but the fragrance is very bright and vibrant and woody. That woodiness is kind of what gives it a year-round feel. But yeah, usually considered a summertime powerhouse, but same thing. You spray it in the wintertime, you're gonna get that iced over cooling feeling. I have worn this on some cooler days. Matter of fact, I've worn this on days where it's been like cool in the morning and then warm in the afternoon. It's a really interesting experience how the fragrance kind of changes its mood, if you will, when it goes from cold to hot. But this fragrance here is definitely a powerhouse for most people. Most people get great performance out of this, if not outright nuclear performance. So it definitely has the staying power to make it through even some cooler days, and you'll definitely get that kind of iced over characteristic from this scent. Once again, from Nishane, this one here is Hacivat. All right, guys, next one also coming from Nishane, and this one here is Wulong Cha. Nishane Wulong Cha. Maybe not as popular as Hacivat, but also considered a summertime powerhouse from the house of Nishane. There's no point in really talking much about the notes. This fragrance to me simply smells like orange flavored tea. That's pretty much the vibe I get from the scent. I don't find that it goes through too much of a transition as the fragrance dries down. So that's my characteristic. That's my explanation of it. Orange flavored tea. And if you wear it in the cooler months, then it's just orange flavored tea with a lot of ice in it. Iced orange flavored tea. Because this fragrance here also has that really bright and vibrant cooling effect in the warmer months, which is why it's a really good warmer months fragrance option in my opinion. But yeah, if you just want that iced over fragrance effect in the cooler months, this one here will absolutely give you that because of its vibrance. And also this one too, at least for me, very long lasting scent. So I do think it will last in those heavier, cooler temperatures as well. So once again, from Nishane, this one here is Wulong Cha. All right, let's move on. Next one's coming from Parfums de Marly. This is Greenley. Parfums de Marly, Greenley. Now, I will say with this fragrance, it doesn't quite have that super bright and vibrant opening that a lot of the fragrances I've talked about so far has. It's a little bit more mellow, kind of a sour green apple kind of smell to it. Kind of smells like sour green apple shampoo, to be honest. That's the best thing I would liken it to in terms of a comparison. And you know, there's some other characteristics here, a little bit of a green characteristic as well, but it's a great warm weather scent, especially in the springtime. Maybe not the first option, you know, in the middle of summer on the hottest day, but it's a great warm weather scent. Performance is certainly not an issue with me for this fragrance. It's also not too sour, not too sweet. It's a good balance between those two elements. Awesome fragrance here. In terms of when you would wear it in the cooler weather, what you might get from it, it's pretty much going to be the same thing where, you know, I think what you'll get is the sourness of the fragrance might come out a little bit more because that's going to be the thing that might give more of the cooling effect. But yeah, I think it's just a fragrance that honestly you could wear year round, even though the vibe of it just doesn't really give that off, but it could work in cooler months as well as warmer months. So this is another one that is a good warmer fragrance, shall we say. Good to wear in the cooler months option if that's something that you might want. And as I stated already, this one here is usually a pretty good performer for most people, so that shouldn't really be a problem even in the cooler months. So once again, from Parfums de Marly, this one here is Greenley. All right, the next one is going to be coming from Arabian Oud. This one here is Diwan. Arabian Oud, Diwan. Now, I'll be completely honest, this fragrance here is a year-round scent. It's one of those perfect year-round fragrance DNAs because you can just use it for literally anything and it'll work. But that being said, to me it does have a vibe. The vibe is more springtime, early fall. And that's just what I get in terms of what the fragrance makes me think of. But again, from a utility standpoint, you can use this for anything at any time. That being said, I did actually use this most recently on a cold day when me and my father went to play some golf, and it was cold, and I'm talking about like 30 mile per hour wind gust, cold too, no sunlight. At times it was a little bit miserable, but I did wear this fragrance just because I just wanted to throw on something that was easy to go with, and that was the case with this one. What is this scent, by the way? It's kind of a fresh and woody fragrance. There's bright spice to it. There might be some cardamom, maybe a little bit of a peppery kind of vibe. I think there's like a soft, slightly aromatic floral vibe to it, and just kind of a clean woody base to the scent overall. It might be a little bit musky, maybe even a little bit ambery, something of that nature. I don't know the notes from memory. I'm not looking at them right now, just kind of giving you overall what I get from the scent, but the stuff just smells fantastic. This is super easy to wear, very easy fragrance to pull off for any scenario, as I already stated. But that being said, because of its utility, this is a great fresher option for the cooler months because it is overall a fresher fragrance. Once again, from Arabian Oud, this one here is Diwan. All right, next one's going to be coming from Rasasi, and this is Hawas Ice. Rasasi Hawas Ice. By the way, Hawas could go on this list as well, the original Hawas. I chose to go with Ice because I do think it is a fresher interpretation of that very popular scent DNA. And since we're going with warm weather scents, I think this is a better option for warmer weather if you don't want it to be too overbearing. But the thing about it is, this is really a true flanker. It's still spicy, it's still fruity, it is still sweet, it's still a little bit ambery, woody overall, and still very artificial smelling as well. But this one has a little bit less of the overall spicy characteristic that Hawas has. It's actually slightly less sweet. And that's kind of the main differences between the two. I would also say that the fruitiness is toned down a little bit. Where Hawas had this kind of big collection of fruity notes, this one doesn't quite have as much of that. Maybe a little bit toned down, maybe a little bit more of just kind of like apple kind of fruitiness to it, if you will. That being said, it's still a Hawas fragrance. Hawas, immensely powerful scent. Hawas Ice, same thing. Will easily cut through some cold weather and should stick around as well. But because this one is a fresher iteration of that DNA, you're just gonna get that iced over effect with the cooler air hitting the scent. So once again, from Wasabi, this one here is Hawas Ice. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Xerjoff. This one here is Neo. Xerjoff Neo. And this is another one that is very well known to be a great summer, or should I say warmer, temperature option from the house of Xerjoff. And I can't disagree. This is a very bright and vibrant, heavy on the bergamot in the opening, mixing with slight green, leafy kind of features, a little bit of peppery spice and woodiness is pretty much the overall breakdown of this scent. It's also a little bit soapy, so it kind of has this natural soapy smell to it. But this one definitely heralded as a great warmer fragrance option. But you know what? It still smells great in the colder weather as well. I guess I got a lot of golf examples in this video. I've also worn this on a cold golfing day. However, it did get warmer halfway through the golfing session, if you will, when I was wearing this. And this was a while ago, but yeah, it was cold to start and then it got warmer and the fragrance smelled great either way. It had that really kind of cool iced over feeling in the earlier morning, and then once it got warmer, it wasn't too heavy or nothing like that. Still smelled great and fresh, and a little bit of that kind of natural herbaceous cleanliness that this fragrance has. I think there's like neroli and something like that in here, so it kind of gives it that characteristic mixing with the green notes and the woodiness of this scent. So once again, from Xerjoff, this one here is Neo. All right, last but certainly not least, got one from Orto Parisi, and this is Bergamask. Orto Parisi Bergamask. So this scent here is another one that is awesome for the summer months because of its like bright and vibrant pushing power that it has. It has this really kind of piercing, invasive play on bergamot. Doesn't really have a juicy element to it. It just kind of has the bright characteristic of it. And then it's got this really strong, funky, but not really overly animalic, musky characteristic to it. And probably some other woody facets as well. I still think there could be a little bit of a play on aldehydes in the scent to kind of add to that overall vibrance that it has. But this is a powerful fragrance. It's from Orto Parisi, which is known to make very strong scents. Matter of fact, that's kind of the identity and DNA of many of the fragrances. They're meant to be kind of strong and a little bit tough, a little bit challenging for some people with some very heavy fragrance notes in there. But this one here is a great summertime scent, but it'll absolutely stick around in some cooler weather just from the mere strength of it and that bright and vibrant nature that it has. When that cold air hits it, it's just gonna ice it over and make it even that much more strong, if you will. So once again, from Orto Parisi, this one here is Bergamask. All right, guys, that is gonna wrap it up for this video. Let me know down in the comments below if you like to wear warm weather fragrances when it is cool out, which I'm sure some of you do from time to time. Let me know what some of those fragrances are down in the comments below. I would love to see what you guys have to say. So thanks again for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.